Hi friends, welcome to our geography classes. As part of world geography, we are discussing the continents. Among these 7 continents, of course, the upcoming continent will be the Zealandia. We discussed about Zealandia also. Now, we are discussing about Africa. Africa, it is called as mother continent because the first inhabited continent of the world. Antarctica is also sometimes designated as mother continent because Antarctica is the only continent never in drifting. All the remaining continents have observed the drastic changes, whereas the Antarctica has no changes until the from the formation of Earth. So Antarctica is the only it is the only stagnant continent, and all the remaining continents are in drifting. They are in drifting. They are in movement. The only stable continent on the Earth is Antarctica. In this regard, it may called as mother continent as it is never in drifting. But the true mother continent of all the continents is Africa because it is the first inhabited continent. Life is initially formed in Africa as per majority of the scientists. Africa is also called as dark continent because it is not known to the modern community for long period. But Africa is actually a continent of plateau with respect to geography. It is a continent of plateau. We will see. There are so many plateaus are formed in Africa. Example, Piedmont Plateau, Libya, Algeria. Example, Zos Plateau, Nigeria, Niger, Chad. Example, Bai Plateau, Bai Plateau. These Angola, Botswana like countries. Example, Katanga Plateau, most important, Katanga. Congo, Angola, Botswana, Zambezi like countries. Katanga Plateau is famous for the pastoral activities, also famous for the copper, iron mining, it's also famous for the agricultural activity. These are the important plateaus of Africa, and you know, Ethiopian highlands are also considered as plateau. So, it is wrong perspective that Africa is regarded as desert continent. Australia is actually the desert continent. Africa is continent of plateaus, right? We are starting the discussion about any continent with their surroundings. Africa is surrounded by some water parts, one Mediterranean Sea, technically part of Atlantic Ocean, 2 the Atlantic Ocean, 3 Indian Ocean, and here it has Red Sea. So Africa is entirely surrounded by the ocean water, but it has a narrow connectivity with Asia through Sinai Peninsula. That is why it is not regarded as an island. We constructed an artificial canal between Sinai Peninsula of Egypt to the mainland Egypt, is a Suez Canal, and Africa is surrounded by these oceans and marginals. As usual, we will continue the discussion with the help of the Straits and islands of the Africa. Then we will continue our discussion with the explanation of the physical part of Africa, physiography of Africa. Then we will go for the discussion of Africa with the help of political map, right? So now coming to the surroundings of Africa, important. See, here we have a strait, Gibraltar. Gibraltar Strait is known as key to the Mediterranean, key to the Mediterranean Sea. Gibraltar separates Europe and Africa. Gibraltar connects Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea. Gibraltar is located between Spain in the north, Morocco in the south. But there is a territory of UK in Spain. It is located to the north of Gibraltar, is called Gibraltar. There is a territory of Spain in Morocco. In Morocco, it is called Ceuta. That is why the Gibraltar Strait is located between UK and Spain, because UK's sovereign territory is Gibraltar. Gibraltar is physically part of Spain. Spain's sovereign territory is Ceuta. Ceuta physically part of Morocco country. That is why sometimes the aspirants may confuse when they ask that the Gibraltar is located between which among the following countries anadigite. Gibraltar, it is technically located between UK and Spain, because Gibraltar as a territory belongs to UK, but it is physically located in Spain. Ceuta as a territory belongs to Spain, physically located in Morocco. So technically it is the Gibraltar Strait is located between UK to Spain, but practically it is located between Spain to Morocco. So Gibraltar separates Europe and Africa, right? Then moving to this location, we have Madeiran Islands. To the north of Madeira, we have Azore Islands. To the south of Madeira, we have Canary Islands belong to Spain. And to the south of Canary, we have Cape Verde Islands. These are an independent islands, Cape Verde is an independent country also. These are the islands located to the northwest of Africa. Azore, Madeira, Canary, and Cape Verde. And here is an island is called Guinea. That is why the Gulf of this African region, the Gulf of Southwest African region is called Gulf of Guinea, because there is a country located here is called Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea, right? And moving to the south, we have the southern edge of Africa is called Cape of Agulhas. It is not Cape of Good Hope. Cape of Agulhas is little south. This little southern than the Cape of Good Hope. And then we have a marginal sea here is Mozambique Channel, located between Mozambique to Madagascar. To the north and east of Madagascar, we have some island countries, 1 Seychelles, 2 Mauritius, 3 Reunion. Reunion is part of France. So Seychelles, Mauritius are the island countries of Africa, located in Indian Ocean to the east and north of Madagascar. And there is a small island located here is called Zanzibar, famous for the cloves, belongs to Tanzania. And here there is an island to the northeast of Somalia, it's called Socotra. Socotra belongs to Yemen. And here is the marginal sea between Yemen to Somalia. Between Yemen to Somalia is called Gulf of Aden. Gulf of Aden, part of Arabia. The marginal sea between Arab Peninsula to the Africa is Red Sea. The Red Sea and Gulf of Aden are connected with a strait is called Bab el Mandeb. Bab el Mandeb connects Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. Bab el Mandeb is also called as Tears Gateway to the Indian Ocean. It is the place of pirates, Somalian pirates. And coming to the Red Sea, they may ask you about the Red Sea countries. How many countries have border with the Red Sea? The Red Sea. 1. Eritrea. 2. Sudan. 3. Egypt. And the Red Sea is located like this. It has 2 gulfs here. This is Sinai Peninsula of Egypt. This is Gulf of Suez. And this is Gulf of Aqaba. Gulf of Aqaba. The Gulf of Aqaba has countries like Egypt, Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabia. Gulf of Aqaba has 4 countries: Egypt, Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabia. This is Saudi Arabia, this is Yemen. So, on the coast of Red Sea, we have 8 countries: Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel. They belong to Asia. Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, and Djibouti. They belong to Africa. These are the 8 countries surrounded to the Red Sea. And the Red Sea, Mediterranean Sea are connected with Suez Canal. Suez Canal connects. Suez, once it was an isthmus. Isthmus is nothing but a narrow land path connecting to huge land masses and separating ocean. Isthmus is like a strait. Isthmus is strait. If strait separates to land paths and connects to water bodies, whereas isthmus connects to land bodies and separated water bodies. So, the isthmus of Suez became canal by constructing an artificial canal, right? The Suez Canal constructed between 1859 to 69. And it is nationalized by the Nasser, the father of Egypt. The canal has a length of 169 kilometers. It connects Red Sea of Indian Ocean to Mediterranean Sea of Atlantic Ocean. Suez Canal has 3 ports. The northern port is called Said Port, and the southern port is called Suez Port, and the middle port is Ismailia Port, is also headquarters of Suez Canal. It is one of the income source for Egypt. To the south and southwest of Suez Canal, we have Egypt. To the north and northeast of Suez Canal, we have Egypt. The northeastern peninsula, which is located to the northeast of Suez, is called Sinai Peninsula. Sinai Peninsula, right? These are the surroundings of the African continent. If you observe the coastline of these countries located at southwest part of Africa, they have different names, right? For example, Slave Coast is the coastline of countries like Nigeria, Benin, Togo. Gold Coast is the coast of Ghana. Ivory Coast is the coast of Cote d'Ivoire country. Grain Coast is the coastline of Liberia and Sierra Leone. Here is the location of the countries. Liberia, Sierra Leone's coast is called Grain Coast. Cote d'Ivoire country's coast is called Ivory Coast. Ghana's coast is called Gold Coast. Togo, Benin and Nigeria's coast is called Slave Coast. So there is scope to ask these names of the coastlines in the match the following type of question in your examination, right? Now, we are moving to the physiography of Africa. Physiography. Africa has some mountain ranges. The northwest mountain ranges of Africa are called Atlas Mountains. They are extended from the Morocco, Tunisia to Algeria. They are extended in Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. They are in these three countries. The area of Atlas and the area which is located north to Atlas is called Maghreb region, Maghreb, right? And if you observe here, there is a mountain in this region is called Cameroon. Mount Cameroon is the active volcano of Africa, is the place which receives the highest rainfall in Africa. Because this is the equatorial region, you know, Africa is the only continent in the world expanded in 4 hemispheres. This part of hemisphere is Western Hemisphere. This part of hemisphere is Eastern Hemisphere with respect to the longitude. This is the prime longitude, Greenwich meridian, Greenwich longitude. This part of Africa is in Northern Hemisphere. This part of Africa is in Southern Hemisphere. This lane is the prime latitude, also called equator. It means it is the only continent in the world expanded in 4 hemispheres. It is in Eastern Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere by longitude. It is in Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere by latitude. It is the only continent where the 3 important tropics have passes through it. Tropic of Cancer, Equator, and Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn passes through South Africa. Tropic of Cancer passes through the Sahara Desert, and Equator also passing through the mid of Africa. So it is the only continent has 3 major latitudes, has 2 important longitude and latitude. It is a continent where equator and Greenwich passing through it. The equator and Greenwich meet, they are intersecting at Gulf of Guinea of Africa, right? Anyhow, coming to the mountains of Africa, we have the Drakensberg Mountains in South Africa and Lesotho countries, Drakensbergs. Atlas are located in northwest direction. Drakensberg in southeast, they are located in the extreme southern part. And middle we have an active volcano is called Cameroon. It's the wettest place of Africa. And we have some mountain ranges along this region. On the block mountain ranges. So this is actually East African Rift Valley. To the east of this Rift Valley, we have some mountains. Among them, Africa's highest mountain and highest peak is located here is Mount Kilimanjaro. Mount Kilimanjaro is the highest peak of Africa, and Mount Kilimanjaro is highest independent peak, highest individual peak, highest isolated peak, highest Inselberg of the world. Everest is highest peak undoubtedly, but it is part of Himalayan range. Kilimanjaro, unlike Everest, it is not a part of any mountain range. Itself, it is an independent mountain system or an independent peak. So, among the independent peaks, it is the highest peak of the world. Of course, it is the highest peak in Africa. What's it? Kilimanjaro is located in Tanzania. The second highest peak of Africa, Kenya. Mount Kenya is also located here. The third peak of Africa, Mount Stanley, located to the west of Lake Victoria. So these are the important peaks of Africa. And Africa has two important hot deserts. One, Sahara Desert. The Sahara Desert is expanded in more than 17 countries from Western Africa, Senegal to Somalia. It is world's largest tropical hot desert. World's largest tropical hot desert. There are a lot of factors behind the formation of hot deserts, like offshore trade winds, descending air currents, rain shadowiness of mountains, and a flow of a cold ocean current on their western margin. So here, the Sahara Desert is formed by the movement of a cold ocean current. Here is called canary. Now, the Sahara Desert is becoming a little popular because of the crude oil resources. And Sahara, there is a place is called Al Ajijia of Libya, where the place is recorded of world's second hottest temperature. The first greatest temperature is recorded at Death Valley of US. The second greatest temperature or the highest temperature is recorded at Al Azizia of Libya. So it is located to the south of Tripoli. And in this Sahara Desert, we have Lake Chad. Located between Chad and Niger countries. Lake Chad is world's largest deflation halo. Deflation halo is like an oasis, like a depression formed by the removal of a huge sand part by the movement of wind. The world's largest deflation halo lake is Chad. It's going to drying up entirely due to high temperatures due to global warming. Lake Chad is the largest deflation halo of the world. In Sahara, we have dominant tribes here are Tuaregs. Tuaregs tribes they are surviving in the Sahara Desert. It has some regional parts where we called it as Igwidi Desert to its northwest region, like Morocco and Libya like countries. I think it is also called as Libyan Desert, Algerian Desert, Egyptian Desert, Sumerian Desert, Nubian Desert, and Somalian Desert. It has different local names in different countries, right? And we have another hot desert located to the south of Africa. It is Kalahari Desert. The Kalahari Desert is expanded in 4 countries like South Africa, Namibia, Angola, Botswana like countries. It's extended in South Africa, Botswana, Angola, Namibia, and Zambezi like countries. Kalahari's western part is called Namib. The Namib Desert is the world's ancient desert. The Namib Desert is extended in the Namibia country. What is the world's ancient desert? Namib. as it is hot desert, it may be formed because of a cold ocean current at its western margin. The cold ocean current of its western margin is Benguela cold current. So, the cold current which is one of the cause for the formation of Kalahari or Namib Desert is Benguela. The cold current is which one of the cause for the formation of Sahara Desert here is Canary. And Kalahari Desert is famous for the native African tribes like Xhosa, like Hottentots, like Zulu tribes, Hottentot tribes, Xhosa tribes belong to the Kalahari Desert. All the tribes are they are surviving in the South African region, right? And coming to the important physiographic feature of Africa, this is most important thing, that is Rift Valley, East African Rift Valley. It's located from here to Israel. The East African Rift Valley is formed by the divergence between two plates. One, the African plate, continental plate, two, the Namib continental plate. As these two have divergent movement between them, at their boundary, Rift Valley is formed. On the edges of Rift Valley, we have some block mountains. The East African Rift Valley is formed by the divergence between African and Namib plates. It is extended from Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Mozambique to Israel along a 5,500 kilometers of length. The East African Rift Valley has some lakes. So here my question is that maybe in TSPS or APPSC, they may ask you about the lake which is not part of East African Rift Valley, the lake which is part of East African Rift Valley. In that way, there might be some questions. See, the lakes of Rift Valley, one, Malawi, Lake Malawi or Lake Nyasa, two, Lake Tanganyika, three, Lake Kivu, Lake Edward, Lake Albert, Lake Turkana, Lake Tana. Tana is birthplace of Blue Nile, right? Then it is going to end in Red Sea. Red Sea is also like a Rift Valley. It's a physiography. When we observe the Red Sea physiography, is also part of Rift Valley, and then it is continued until the Dead Sea of Israel. It's extended from Mozambique to Israel, right? So all these lakes are part of Rift Valley. There is a lake located here is called Assal. It's the deepest point of, is the deepest or lowest point of Africa. The Assal Lake is in Djibouti country, but the largest lake of Africa is Victoria. Victoria Lake is not at the Rift Valley. It is not located at the Rift Valley. It is not part of Rift Valley. Lake Victoria is second largest freshwater lake of the world after Superior. It is third largest lake after Caspian Sea and Superior. Second largest freshwater lake after Superior. It's located between Tanzania, Kenya and Uganda. And Victoria is the origination place of White Nile. White Nile. There are some other lakes in Africa formed by the construction of dams like Nasser, like Volta, like Kariba. We will discuss about those lakes while discussing the rivers. These are the important lakes of Africa. where Victoria is not come under Rift Valley Lake. All the remaining lakes what we discussed as of now come under Rift Valley Lake. Lake Tana is the birthplace of Blue Nile. Lake Victoria is the birthplace of White Nile. Sorry, Victoria. Victoria is not come under Rift Valley. It is the second largest freshwater lake of the world, the first largest lake of Africa. Right? Now, moving to the rivers of Africa. Rivers. Right. One, Niger. Originate at the Guinea of Africa, passes through Guinea, Mali, Niger, Benin and Nigeria, and finally ends its journey to Gulf of Guinea. One of the important river for the economy and the growth rate of Nigeria, and the delta of river Niger made the local tribes like Hausa, like tribes of Nigeria made settlement. And Nigeria, it is indirectly because of this river, it became the largest country of Africa by population. Nigeria is in first place in population in Africa. Nigeria is in first place in GDP in African countries, among African countries. Algeria is in first place by area, right? Then there is a small river passes through the Burkina Faso and Ghana. It is Volta. The river is Volta. By the construction of a dam, Volta Dam, Volta Lake is formed in Ghana, became the largest artificial lake of Africa. So, the largest artificial lake of Africa is Volta, located in Ghana. The dam is also called Volta. There is a dam on Niger in Nigeria is called Kainzi. Right? And the next river here is Nile, important. Nile is a little important for us. Nile, it is confluence of two rivers. One, White Nile. Two, Blue Nile. White Nile originates near Victoria Lake. Blue Nile originates near Lake Tana. Both join to form Nile at Khartoum, the capital of Sudan. And it passing through the desert, Sahara Desert. And it has confluence into Mediterranean Sea near Alexandria. River Nile forms a delta which looks like a bow, so that the delta of Nile is called arcuate delta. Became the longest river of the world, the length of 6,600 kilometers. In Sudan, they constructed two dams on Blue and White Nile respectively. Those dams are Sennar and Owen dams. But the largest dam on Nile is constructed in Egypt, is called Aswan Dam. Made formation of a reservoir behind it is called Nasser Lake or Nasser Reservoir. It's said that Egypt is regarded as the gift of Nile. Telugulo antam Nile yokka prasadamu అని అంటాం then Egypt, right? And there is another important river is called Congo or Zaire. Congo or Zaire. Congo or Zaire, one of the important river of Africa and the second largest river of Africa, originates near Katanga Plateau, flows through the Congo and empties into Atlantic Ocean. Volta, Niger, Congo, then Orange. They have their confluence into Atlantic Ocean. Nile, Mediterranean Sea. Limpopo, Zambezi into Mozambique channel, or their confluence into Indian Ocean. The Congo, it crosses equator twice. As it flows through the rolling plateau, it have highest number of ups and downs. So it is one among the most large rivers of world, not suitable for the navigation. River Congo forms some waterfalls like Bioma. River Congo forms waterfall like Stanley. River Congo form waterfall like Livingston. So Livingston, Bioma and Stanley are the waterfalls formed by River Congo. Congo has a tributary is called Kasai, K-A-S-A-I, Kasai. The Kasai tributary is famous for the diamond mining. There is another river, it has the inland drainage pattern here in Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe countries, part of Kalahari Desert. The river is called Okavango. The Okavango Delta is inland delta. It has no mouth to ocean. The Okavango Delta or Okavango swamps of Botswana are famous for the diamond mining. Right? And there is a river flowing towards east in Africa is called Zambezi. River Zambezi. The Zambezi River is a border river between Zambia and Zimbabwe. River Zambezi forms one of the world's famous waterfall between Zambia and Zimbabwe is Victoria waterfall. And Zambezi ends its journey into Mozambique Channel. By the construction of a dam, Kariba on Zambezi, it forms Lake Kariba here. And the Kariba is the largest dam of Africa and the largest dam by production capacity, largest dam by the hydel electricity production. Largest dam in installed capacity is Three Gorges of China. The largest dam of hydel potential is Kariba Dam of Zimbabwe and Zambezi. And there are two rivers originate in Drakensberg Mountains. One flows through towards east, ends their journey into Mozambique Channel is called Limpopo. Another river flows westwards and ends its journey into Atlantic Ocean, and it passes through the Kalahari Desert is called Orange. One of the exotic river of the world. The Orange forms a beautiful waterfall in South Africa is called Agrabahce waterfall. These are the important rivers of Africa. Volta forms the largest artificial lake in Africa. Niger, Kainzi Dam, Niger Delta, mangroves. Nigeria is in second place in area of mangroves. Nigeria is in first place among the African countries in population and GDP. Settled so many local native tribes of Nigeria here. And Nile, world's longest river. Sennar, one of the important dam. Owen, one of the important dam on Nile in Sudan. Aswan is the largest dam on Nile, where it led to formation of Nasser. Nile, Congo, touching equator twice, it forms Bioma, Livingston and Stanley waterfalls. Congo's tributary is Kasai, famous for diamond mining. And Okavango Delta, an inland delta of Kalahari Desert, is also famous for the diamond mining. And the eastern flowing river Zambezi forms the Great Victoria waterfall. Zambezi has the largest dam of Africa, it's called Kariba. And Limpopo, flowing towards east, has origination in Drakensberg Mountains. and orange flowing towards west as it has origination in Drakensberg. The orange, an exotic river as it flows through Kalahari Desert. It forms a beautiful waterfall in South Africa is called Agrabahce waterfall. What's it? Agrabahce waterfall. Now, Africa is one of the continent, not one of the continent, it is the best continent of all the climatic types. Extreme northern parts of Africa along the coast of Mediterranean, and extreme southern part of Africa along the coast of Indian and Atlantic Ocean have Mediterranean type of climate. Mediterranean type of climate. And the area which is located north and nearby Atlas Mountains, where the Arab Spring is started here initially in 7th century, is called Maghreb. Right? To the south of Mediterranean type of climate, we have hot desert type of climate. To the north of Mediterranean type of climate, even in the southern hemisphere of Africa, we have hot desert. And here we have the tropical grasslands of Africa, temperate grasslands of Africa, especially located in South African country, are called velds. What are the temperate grasslands of Africa? Velds. North American temperate grasslands, prairies. South America, pampa. Eurasia, steppes. Hungary, pustas. Africa, velds. Australia, downs. So the temperate grasslands of South Africa, are downs located here. And the east coast of Africa enjoys tropical eastern margin type of climate. It is slightly monsoonal. And the equatorial region of Africa have the equatorial type of climate, the tropical rainforest type of climate, where we have the native pygmy tribes. And from South Africa, Mozambique to the Western Africa or Senegal, we have tropical grassland type of climate. It's called savanna. Famous for its rich diversity. It became safari for the animals. It is paradise for the hunters. It has its richness of diversity. It has highest number of national parks in the world. There is a medium and moderate type of climate evolved between hot desert, Sahara, to the tropical grasslands of Africa is called Sahel. Sahel is a different type of climatic type originated between Sahara desert to the tropical grasslands. So, to restrict the expansion of Sahara to the south of it, the Great African Wall is going to be constructed between Sahara to the Sahel region from Senegal to Somalia with a length of 8,000 kilometers. These are the important climatic types of Africa, right? Now, moving to the political map of Africa. Africa has 54 countries, including the island countries like Seychelles and Mauritius. Seychelles is the smallest country of Africa by area. So the largest country in area is Algeria. The largest country in population is Nigeria. And see, there are two landlocked countries as part of Africa are what? Lesotho and Swaziland. Among these 54 countries, there are 15 countries are landlocked. Botswana, Lesotho, Swaziland, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Burundi, Rwanda, Uganda, South Sudan, Ethiopia, Central Africa, Chad, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso are the countries or landlocked countries of Africa. Right? Africa have some tribes, some native tribes. I will show you map of the native tribes. See, these tribes are important, especially the Kalahari Desert and the South Africa have some tribes like Zulu, Xhosa, and the western part of Zulu, Xhosa, Karo, Great Karo Plateau is located here in South Africa, and Bushmen are the tribes of the South Africa, especially Kalahari Desert. The tribes of Kalahari and Namib are Hottentots. The tribes of Congo region are Pygmies. Pygmies are classified into some subgroups. The tribes of Eastern Africa, we have Maasai, Kikuyu. Tribes are located here, Kenya, Tanzania, like countries. The tribes of Nigeria, Hausa, Yoruba. The tribes of Sahara, Tuaregs, are the some native tribes of African area. Africa has some places of Africa are also famous for their mineral sources. For example, Congo, Masai River diamonds, Okwanga River, Kasai River diamonds, Okwanga River of Botswana, famous for diamonds. In the African region, Kalahari Desert, one hand it is famous for the diamond mining, other hand it is also famous for the gold mining. World's deepest gold mine, world's deepest mine is located here is called Poneng. And the places like Witwatersrand, Poneng are famous for the gold mining. And the places like Johannesburg, Kimberley are famous for the diamond mining in South Africa. Right? This is about Africa, one of the important continents, the second largest continent after Asia. Right? Go through the surroundings and especially go through the canals. Here the Gibraltar Strait, there we have Suez Canal, here we have Bab el Mandeb Strait. Bab el Mandeb connecting Gulf of Aden to the Red Sea. Suez Canal is connecting Red Sea to the Mediterranean. Gibraltar is connecting Mediterranean to the Atlantic Ocean. And then go through the important physical features, especially the lakes of East African Rift Valley and about the Victoria Lake. Go through the rivers and the tribes. These are the important concepts of Africa. Thank you.